Hello, and welcome back, friends old and new. Deis Ferrous here, continuing on our Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader run. Where exactly did we leave off? Ah, yes, that's right. We left off at the end of the, uh, the Gene Stealer cult storyline, as far as I can tell. Where Heinrich Montag, our Infernus Master, and his nieces? I'm pretty sure his nieces, not his daughters. I could be wrong. Helped the Gene Stealer cult invade and attack our ship. We had a big final boss battle with the big abomination Gene Stealer. And we had to say farewell to our dear Infernus Master, one of my favorite members of the higher officer staff. A truly, truly sad day. We were on our way, but yes, we were on our way back to the Furibundus system so we can go back to Alter Templum Calixis Extension 17, get the upgrade to the implantation throne. I don't quite remember. I don't quite remember the official name for it, I should say. The Augmetic throne in the Sector Bionica. So we can upgrade, I guess, like, it'd be tier 2 augments now, I suppose. And then from there, we're gonna go back up to the north end of the map, the galactic map, do some more quests up there, and then come back down to Footfall and talk to Lord Calcazar. Because if we do Lord Calcazar, we actually fail a different quest. Lord Captain, the priesthood of Alter Templum Calixis X-17 Sanctuary customarily have no desire to communicate with the laity. But today is an exception, and so are you. You, you hear the clicking sound as the Voxmaster toggles between frequencies. We've been granted access to the station's frequency. What request do you command us to transmit? Implantation throne. I seek their counsel and assistance with the equipment in the Sector Bionica. Done. Awaiting response. A prolonged silence fills the Vox channel. Lord Captain, the station has broken Vox silence. You can hear the slight surprise in Victus's Vox-distorted voice. The Magos Logis of Alter Templum Tetria Lemma wishes to speak with you. After a brief tone, you hear a high, rattling voice speaking in a single note. Omnisaya's blessing, rejoice. There is no randomness in the probabilities that brought you here, for I am conveying to you a proposal for lucrative cooperation. Pact TR3, in view of your past deeds and the clergy of Alter Templum Alter Templum Calixis Extension 17 are disposed to perform binaric rites of the 4th grade over the machine spirits of your vessel. The terms will be specified further. The esteemed tech priest could offer their assistance without any terms. You detect the wounded tone beneath Avalard's grumbling. What are the terms? For several cycles, Promethium extraction station Circuaz 4 has been late in its shipments for Alter Templum sacred rites. The action required in exchange for our services is this. You will undertake to cast your gaze toward this station and compel it to open its box channels. Communication with one of the drilling platforms that extract promethium for Alter Templum has been disrupted, and the shipments have stopped. It seems the Magus wishes you to find out what has happened. Victus replies in a whisper. Very well. Or discover what has taken place at the station. Blessed be all the probabilities that have converged under the gaze of the machine god. I deemed Pact TR3 concluded. Interesting. So that premium implants, industrial sabotage. In order for the tech priests of Alter Templum Calixtus to agree to work on improving the implementation throne in Sector Bionica, the rogue trader must help them resolve the matter of the disrupted Promethium supply. Shipments of sacred Promethium to Alter Templum Calixtus Extension 17 have been disrupted. Whoever is responsible should answer for their transgressions and be punished most harshly. Interesting. Alright. Well, what I'm gonna do is we have 40, so we can jump pretty much anywhere at the cost of 6, if I understand this correctly. So we have Dargonus there for the Versarians. Oh, that's new. You go over there, pick up Solomorn. Yeah, I'm gonna save time and just zoom on over, honestly. I have 40 navigation, so I might as well use it. I could also just zoop right over there. Let's get Solomon first. Because we might as well just get Solomon, hop over, zoom all the way up, hop right over, get Solomon back with us. I don't really use him in this round, but I like to have him. Then we'll hop over to Garterfell's Calamity, hop over to Ignis Cordna, go down to Dargonus, and then meet with Lord Calcazar. I believe that's all the quests. Lord Captain, I have made an important discovery. When you destroyed the creature the mutants called the Sire, I felt it was my duty to investigate how the abomination had found its way onto our ship. Digging through old inventories and archives of trade transactions, I latched onto a single name, Finger of Sorrow. More than 2 centuries ago, the drifting hulk of this vessel was discovered by Lady Theodora's predecessor. It was a lost merchant ship with a hold full of cargo. I was reminded of the 3 sorrowful phalanges mentioned by the twisted creatures. I dare theorize that this image harkens back to the name of the ship woven into the heretic's beliefs. A third of the goods taken from the Finger of Sorrow were sold to the Drusian mission on footfall for the needs of a colonization arc, the Wasteland Wayfarer, bound for the world of Jesavon. A third was taken to Hive Scipion 84-249 on Dargonus, where a mutiny broke out later, and the final third was left on the flagship. Surely you could see where I'm going with this. Centuries later, a cult of mutants emerged in every single location the shipments were delivered to. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I remember the stuff with Scipion. I don't quite remember the Drusian. I don't quite remember the conversation. Yeah, I don't quite remember the Wasteland Wayfarer with them having a rebellion. I'm blanking on that a little bit. But anyways, um, are you telling me that the Von Valancius dynasty has been transporting genetic aberrations across the expanse? Purely out of ignorance. The creatures probably lurked in the cargo and no one discovered them. Or perhaps we know these things can take over minds. They could have dominated anyone who stumbled upon their nests. Where did the Finger of Sorrow come from? It arrived in the expanse from somewhere in the Calixtus sector. More precise information may be contained in the dead vessel's log, but I do not have it in my possession. What do you think these 3 sorrowful phalanges represent? I assume they symbolize the 3 branches of the cult: the Ravenous Star, and the unnamed cult from Scipion. At least I, pray to the Emperor that they are only 3. I wish to locate the wreck and investigate it. The coordinates have already been entered into the logbook, your lordship. Huh, neat. Okay, let's see. What do we got once the loading's done? There we go. Oh, hi, Cassia. Deus, how wonderful it is that I found you here. Uncontrollable anxiety washes over your body, causing you to lose your breath. Cassia notices this, closes her eyes, and you are released from the grip of emotions that are not your own. Please forgive me. My powers are sometimes too insistent in their attempts to break free from my control. You've made great strides in learning how to keep them at bay. I commend your perseverance. I came to deliver good tidings. I've spoken with the house's navigators through the Atlas. Of, of late, I can feel with increasing clarity our connection is growing stronger. Despite the descent in its midst, House Arcelio has been able to keep a precarious equilibrium, thanks in part to your unexpected arrival on Yurak 5 and the resolution of the conflict at Argonis' reception. Not all Orcelios concur with your decisions, but none can deny the impact that you, and no one else, have had on the House's present state of affairs. Cassian nods gratefully, lowers her gaze, and clasps her hands together. There's more I wish to tell you. It is about the visions that I have come to experience at an increasing rate during warp jumps. The same visions come to me again and again and again. It is as if I'm going mad. For you see, these visions are about me, the Atlas and Tisiphone Orcelia, the house's previous Novator. I've seen Tisiphone's experiments, the ones that involved the navigators from the Seth, Sethala branch, which he is rumored to have destroyed for disobedience. But the visions told me an altogether different story, one where the Sethala helped Tisiphone create the Atlas, and they vanished immediately after the experiments were done with. Perhaps I can... No, I know I can find the way to the Palace of the Atlas if I recreate Tisiphone's journey from my visions. A real palace, not the, not the, not the psychophysical illusion to which the Ocelio navigators can reach out. I've always had a feeling that it truly exists in our world. Now, however, I know it with absolute certainty. I, what else did the visions tell you? I saw Tisiphone experience an epiphany in a dream, just like my visions came to me on our travels through the warp. She beheld a planet hidden behind roiling warp storms. The world promised her great power, so Tisiphone gathered the Sethalas, her most devout followers, to go on a suicidal journey through the Tempest. I know not the details of what happened on that planet, but it was there that the Sethalas sacrificed themselves in experiments of some kind, and it was there that House Ocelio obtained its Stairway Atlas. For the first time ever, I have an opportunity to find answers to the questions my mentors so deftly avoided. Why did Tisiphone choose me? What is the Atlas? Is it true that House Orcelio's past is drenched in blood? Please, Deus, do not snap this tautly drawn string of destiny. My destiny. Journey with me in Tisiphone's wake to the distant stars. I have been informed that House Orcelio will soon convene its Grand Council. Would it not be better to wait for it to finish? I cannot shake a certain foreboding about the upcoming meeting in the incorporeal palace of the Atlas. Troubling mirages have plagued my mind for many nights now. Voices calling and cursing my name. The more I use the Atlas, the clearer the visions become, and the louder the voices grow, and the further my powers wane. I'm certain that all of the house is experiencing the same, for all of us are connected. I can sense my family's fear. House Orcelio is doomed to perish in darkness should I fail to discover why the Atlas is weakening. And that reason, I believe it is hidden somewhere in my visions of Tisiphone. I mean, I shall help you, Lady Cassia. Cassia breathes a sigh of relief, but the look on in her ruby eyes quickly darkens again. The house is still watching me, both the renegades and the loyalists. I doubt that any of them will agree, even to a brief armistice, for the sake of learning the truth about the Atlas's origin. And I do not wish to see House Orcelio lose even more life to another fratricidal skirmish. No, I shall go after the answers about our paths on my own way. On my own. Um... Yeah, then it's best if we go alone. Okay, so it's basically picking invite the renegades with us, invite the loyalists with us, or we go on our own. I'm gonna say then it is best we go on our own, I think. I don't fully trust either side, honestly. Cassia's shoulders relax a little. Thank you for your understanding, rogue trader. And now permit me to take my leave. I must start preparing for the journey. From what I've been able to glean, we must first travel to the... Her ruby red eyes widened in astonishment. The Orcelio prophecy system. Odd that. Could it be that the historical records are lying? And Kaelin Orcelio is not whom the star system is named after? Either way, that was the system from which Tisiphone embarked on her journey, and we are going to follow in her long-forgotten footsteps. Alrighty. I'm sorry they didn't give me a... Oh, you rogue trader. The lady navigator's going to your room or something. He gave me January and then threw me into that. Whatever. Okay. So let's see. So that's that. Ah. Perform the ritual. That's gotta be for... Okay, yeah, that's gotta be for Cassia. We'll do that when we head back down. I'm not beeline all the way around now. Think... Who's that for? Yeah, it's for them. So I'll grab Solomon. Hop up here, grab them. Hop down to Argonis, help the Versarians. Hop over there, yeah. Hop over there, help them. Hop back, help Cassia, and then go visit Calcazar. Cool. Hits a Vavo 6. Yeah, we're all done on projects. Let's see. Let's grab... Who would I feel like taking with me? Let's grab our... Let's grab our... No, let's grab Adira. I want to use her a little bit more. Now that I've built her up and got an understanding of psychers and everything, I kind of want to use Adira a bit more. Hello. Things have been cleaned up quite a bit now, huh? Greetings, your lordship. You've come to collect him, haven't you? Overseer Anthar, I mean? Yes, I did come for Solomon. Where is he? Emperor be praised. I mean, he's not far from here, carrying out routine cell inspections. You should have no trouble finding him. You look a little disturbed. Is Solomon causing trouble? Most certainly not. He's an arbitrator through and through, albeit a discharged one. It's just, the jailer's rebreather emits a shuddering wheeze. He's so diligent in his work that us common people cannot keep up. State plainly what your problem is. Your lordship, Vabo 6 is a grim and dismal place, but how shall I put this? Master Anthar has made it unbearable. He's introduced new policies. Each shift now begins with a penitential scourging, followed by an inspection. Even the slightest offense merits 10 lashes, a thorough search, and yet more punishment. I'm talking about the jailers here. Why is Solomon dictating procedures? Are you not in charge here? I am in charge of just this sector. Or was in charge, anyway. The head of the colony said that. Now that we have an ex-arbitrator, we should heed his wisdom and learn from it. Called us planetoid-dwelling dust gorgers, too. But that's beside the point. Are you saying the colony has become less functional? Quite the opposite. We've never enjoyed such strict discipline. Except, people are dying a bit too quickly. On both sides of the bars. I mean, your lordship, there have been several attempts on Master Anthar's life. He has grown stronger than fear. Take him away from here, I beg you. Please take him away. I need to see Solomon immediately. Emperor bless you. Oh, fucking Solomon. Let's grab some quick levels. Which ones I have authority? It's not bad. I'll grab wounds and no excuse, sure. Hey, Lord Imperium, i.e. more armor. Battlelord. Ooh. Pretty sure he has an ability that lets him use Slash a whole bunch for pretty cheap. If I remember. I'll use that. Got medic, because you're actually kind of my main medic. Do 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 do. I'll grab that. I'm not gonna use too much time on a lot of this, just cause I'm pretty sure I said this. Like I have most of the stuff that I really want for the most part. Okay, some more logic or some more tech use. Getting shown up by a deer lately. Dude. She's Lloyd Zena, so what am I doing? That's the easy one. Yeah. You also have pretty good awareness. Do 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 do. I don't think you have ranged weapons equipped. Do you have a staff? And I think you have melee. I'll swap it out if I need to. That's fine. I'll also grab useful awareness. Indeed, do you have a gun? You do have a gun. So let me get rid of that. That force sword I can give you. I got the ancient force sword. That works. Swap out that for Dark Providence. And that should do it. There we go. You don't actually have any armor. I'm pretty sure I have a reason I don't have any armor on you. Like 593. Hmm. I don't know, isn't it like yeah, the Star Comet they get a lot of dodge. Yeah, that's why the Star Mist scarf. Any gloves for you? Uh Yeah, there you go, that works. Cool. The ordinance entitled Anthar's Edicts, Amendment 12, contains a minute-by-minute schedule of each prisoner's duties and a detailed system of punishment for them. At the bottom is a seal with the inscription, approved by the colony governor.
I won't tolerate weakness.
Yeesh.
Would you look at that?
There's some loot over there. Hey guys. Huh. Solomon, you gotta chill, bud. Oh, hello. Assault onslaught ability. Arbitrary dashes through allies and things. Huh. Alright, we'll give that to Solomon at some point, maybe. There's something wriggling in the prisoner's rags. A rat, greedily gnawing the flesh off a still living man. Its emaciated victim only twitches a finger convulsively. Ew. Yeah, that's the same thing as what was up by the landing port. Is that the same thing? Yeah. Where's Solomon? Hey Solomon, don't mind me, I'm just gonna steal this stuff real quick.
Operation successful.
Critical damage dealt by the wearer with pistols is increased by 46% of their lore if their lore imperium is 150 or higher. Wow. Instinctively, I want to throw that on. 46%. Lore imperium divided by 5. Like, I wish I was a pistol build now. And my nutty lore imperium freaking army. Oh, you know what? I should get second skin so I don't have the dodge penalty. That would be great. Just completely rework myself into a pistol gunslinger build with Lore Imperium.
It's about time.
Hey, Solomon. Hi. Oh, what the fuck? What the? It doesn't matter. You're already dead. Solomon turns sharply toward you. He's not wearing a rebreather, and fresh bandages peek out from under his uniform. The former proctor roars, consumed with rage. Who opened your cell? Who did it? Speak or your death will be. It seems Solomon is a breath away from lunging for you next, but recognition glimmers in those deranged eyes, and his voice goes quiet, as if all his strength has fled him. Glyto? Why are you not wearing a rebreather? The air here is nauseous. I'm too used to arbitrator helmets. They do not cover the lower mouth of the face, lower part of the face. As for my well-being, frankly, I couldn't care less. I was told you'd been discharged. How did that happen? I failed the mission. Failed everyone. Solomon clenches his teeth. There were too many enemies. The situation was against us. No, I'm not making excuses. It was not my first mission to go awry. I didn't have Glyto with me. I was sloppy, unfocused. I ordered the retreat too late. I managed to drag one of the arbitrators to the infirmary. The man died of his wounds. Bottom line, the objective was not accomplished. 10 arbitrators were lost, and the commander was somehow left alive. Like a coward, I hoped to be executed. But the marshal sent me to rot on Vabo 6 instead, and he was right to do so. What happened here? A pathetic attempt on my life. The second one today. One of the jailers left the cells unlocked so the prisoners could do their dirty work. No matter. I'll find the culprits and execute each and every one of them. Come, I've already submitted a petition to have you reinstated. No. Stop. I can't leave. I'm guilty. Guilty? What are you talking about? I've judged myself and handed down the sentence. Not because of the demotion, though it was the last straw. I cannot do it anymore. I cannot look at the lying governors, the scoundrels who succumb to corruption, or the Xenos who consort with humans because their own take me is permitted under the law of your sector. But above all else, I cannot bear to look at myself. An arbitrator who is coming apart at the seams, who turns into a wreck without his dog, who... Solomon releases a ragged sigh, who no longer believes that the Lex Imperialis prevails anywhere at all. Juliet looks down at the man, but her voice sounds slightly gentler than usual. You have seen the true face of your kind's world, ugly, cruel, and deceitful, but the pain you feel is not the end. You have a choice, even now, even here. And what about Glyto? I don't have the right to keep him anymore. He reaches his metal finger towards the Cybermaster's head, but stops just short of touching it. Deliver him to the Marshal. He'll find Glyto a new master. Solomon slowly raises his hand. His face is twisted in torment. Perhaps his injuries are causing him pain, or perhaps it's the words he's trying to force out. Glyto, Protocol Mortem 80. Guard the target. Solomon points a trembling finger at you. But the Cybermaster does not react. The scarlet lights of his visor stare at Solomon, and not a muscle beneath the dark coat quivers in response to the order to leave his master. He is not listening to me. Is this the aftermath of that damned mission on Tessera? Or did the tech priests have him reset to basic protocols? Throne, what difference does it make? My dog. I can't give him one last order. Why now? I can't even give him one last order. Why now, Glyto? Glyto has protected you from the convict. Is that not enough for you? We used to act as one, but not anymore. The last remnants of my composure are gone. Look at me. I'm a human scrap, not an arbitrator. Just an appendage to a cybermastiff. And what is the sentence? I will serve on Vabo 6 until either the world itself or its inhabitants end my existence. Till that day, I will mold this prison to a paragon of imperial order. Even so, I'm not leaving without you. You will. You can't stand here forever. Vabo 6 is not your prison. It is your personal bunker. You are a coward, hiding from the trials bestowed upon you by the Emperor. I'm not! Solomon stops abruptly. I hadn't thought about it that way. Is this how proctors end their journey? You can die in a penal world in the heat of battle against the most dangerous heretics of the Cronus spans. The choice is yours. You have a way of hitting a nerve. I'd say you're good at it. Solomon looks sullenly at the courtyard, where yet another prisoner is about to meet his fate. Some plan I've made for myself. Craven fool. Anger retreats from his voice, giving way to remorse. But now I see where I've failed. You didn't relent. Didn't let me end my days in this ignominy. I guess that means I'm still worth something. Metal fingers close around Glyto's collar. You convinced me. To the void with Vabo 6. My place is not here. I'm ready to serve once more. I will head to the ship at once. If you need anything, you can find me at my usual post on the bridge. There we go. I can loot these guys. They give reinforced armored body gloves? That feels generous. Oh, hello. The way I can use range weapons in melee range. Whereas range attacks against adjacent targets gain 12% critical hit chance. 3 times perception bonus. Ooh. Ooh. The wall which was destroyed in the Drakari attack has been partially rebuilt. A bold hand has left an inconspicuous message. It was better under the Xenos. Ugh. That's some
Follow my
heresy.
lead.
Oh, let me read that real quick. Heat waves emitting from the huge mining machine. Overheating could be the cause of the work stoppage. Anyways, let's go home. We got our boy. He obtained our Solomon. I believe that is all the companions we had to look for. Wow, there's actually just like nothing here. The Heartless. What's going on with the Heartless? Why are you out here? Lord Captain, we have established a box connection with the captain of the Heartless. He says the ship and her crew serve you faithfully while protecting the dynasty's trading vessels. I'm curious to hear about the Heartless's voyages. The captain reports that a Xenos threat was recently eliminated on board. It is unknown what forgotten compartment the creature had crawled out of, but it started taking over people's bodies, and its case inflicted an unbearable pain. Several brave voidsmen died trying to drive the abomination to the fuel chamber, before it was finally incinerated and its ashes consigned to the void. That sounds similar to a gene stealer, I think. Though I don't think it's like adjacent to what the gene stealers were doing on my ship, but like not. I don't think it quite like perfectly lines up with anything. Make that safe because we can. Hop over here. Permission to report, Lord Captain. Sauerbock's voice is resonant. Mistress Cabela has been apprehended by enforcers at the scene of a crime. Eyewitnesses saw her assault and kill the esteemed Chirurgeon Majoris. She has confessed to the murder. The penalty for murdering a senior officer is death. However, given Mistress Cabela's honorable service and her special status, I dare not proceed without your permission. She is incarcerated and awaiting your judgment. Let me know when you are ready to hear her case. Interesting. Lord Captain, urgent Vox transmission from the Sector Bionica. Hail, rogue trader! Eogun's sonorous voice fills the channel. As you know, there are no unsolvable dilemmas, only poorly formulated questions. You strike me as someone who knows how to ask the right questions, and so I would like to invite you to participate in my scientific research. Will you honor me with your presence in the Sector Bionica? I would like to know more before I agree. Oh, well, in that case, I am interested more in your philosophical outlook rather than your practical skills. I do not doubt the extent of your knowledge, but I myself will handle the technical aspects of the process. If you want to know about my focus and objectives, my research is dedicated to the extension and optimization of the vital processes that occur in organic flesh. Key to this endeavor will be deriving a formula to quantify righteousness. Your assistance in this matter will be most valuable. I am intrigued. I shall proceed to you directly, Genitor. Blessed are those who heed the call of the Omnisaya. I look forward to a conversation, Rogue Trader. Alrighty. Let's have a pleasant chat with Yugon, and then put Cabela on trial. Cause you know, can't go one warp jump without shit going crazy out here. On the operating table, several bodies are laid out, their mutilations exposed to the chill air. Their chests and abdominal cavities yawn wide, excavated of their augmented organs, which now nestle in flasks, still connected to the bodies by tubes and cables. Judging by the rhythmic contractions, the organs are still functioning. Eogun hovers beside the tables, assiduously taking measurements and jabbing mechadendrites into the extracted organs or inside the bodies. Nuntius keeps stoic vigil nearby, an impassible observer of this grotesque spectacle. take a closer look at the bodies. The three men of differing ages lie before you, young, middle-aged, and old. If you look closely, you can see that they still have a semblance of life about them. Each one has had the top of his skull delicately removed, and electrodes are now attached to the blush-hued brain tissue, latticed with blood vessels. Below the neck is one continuous gaping wound. The edges spread and held in place by a complex system of clamps. Examine the young man. The pathologically emaciated build and spindly, almost transparent limbs indicate that this is a voidborn. A glance into the open rib cage reveals signs of damage. The sac around the heart is torn and the vessels have been reinforced with metal staples. The poor youth's heart is half augmented. Both ventricles have been replaced by pumps, which are connected to opaque tubes that run to the Medicaid device's reservoir. The young man's neck is tattooed with his Bay code and job title. It seems he is a common worker from the lower decks. Examine the man. With his well-developed musculature and strong bones, this man presents a stark contrast to the others. His left arm is missing, along with parts of his shoulder. Shreds of major vessels protrude from the neatly trimmed stump. They've been closed off with bizarre-looking end caps that are wired to a metal arm lying nearby. The Enforcer's emblem is tattooed on the man's neck, topped with the Von Valancius coat of arms. Examine the old man. The old man's eyelids are closed and his face is serene. He might appear to be sleeping peacefully, were it not for the deathly pallor of his face and his monstrously mangled neck. He'd been fitted with a voice implant at some point previously, but had recently been wrenched from the unfortunate man's body. Every so often, the metal hose now serving as his trachea emits a reedy whistling sound. He is clutching something tightly in his right hand. It is an ornate set of prayer beads, the kind used by ordained servants of the ecclesiarchy. End your examination. Absorbed in his work, Eogun pauses for a moment, listening to Nuncius, then glances at the constators and shakes his head. No, dearest colleague, that would be excessive. Nuncius, shed some light on these experiments, would you? Nuncius obediently turns on his built-in lumen, illuminating the subjects on the tables. It seems he is unwilling to divulge the subtleties of the experiment, silently ceding the right to answer to Yugon. The manipulous massive bulk spins around to face you, his eyes dancing with excitement. Ah, rogue trader! Your arrival has triggered a cascade of impulses in the prefrontal cortex of my brain. Delight! That's the word I was searching for. Cast over your worries. The subjects of the experiments have been preserved through a combination of alchemical compounds, local transactions of the motive force, and moderately invasive augmentation procedures. In other words, all three are very much alive. Throughout this speech, Yugon's mechadendroids continue their manipulation of the bodies. The crux. All these organisms were found in critical condition. I asked myself, is their usefulness and productive capacity truly as an end? Nonsense. To move from a state of being to a state of non-being entails no benefit or meaning. I personally ensured that their vital functions were preserved. Our goal could not be simpler. To vanquish death by creating the perfect, righteous man. That which I've dubbed the Triasamata. Needless to say, the procedure is highly experimental and demands a certain looseness of interpretation in regard to augmentation canons, as well as integration of components that would incur the Imperium's disapproval. But the Omniscience teaches us to surmount any obstacle in the name of knowledge, especially when pursuing a goal of such magnitude. Organisms, they're not things, Eogon. You're talking about people? I see we have found a lacuna in your knowledge of scientific syntax. An organism is... Iogon breaks off and casts a confused look at Nuncius. Oh, apologies, rogue trader. I'm not well versed in contact with laypersons. Nuncius far surpasses me in every way when it comes to communication. I recognize that these individuals have minds, desires, and needs. I have not attempted to interfere with their personalities. On the contrary, I wholly admire each for their own traits. I use the term organism with nothing but the deepest respect for these men and their vital functions. Alright, fair enough. Trio Somata, what is that? The trioed essence, the amalgam of the best constituent parts of three individuals who have excelled themselves in service. Metaphysically, it consists of three beginnings: mortal flesh, ferrum sanctum, and righteousness. By creating the perfect combination, we will achieve a totality that is vastly superior to its components in its qualities and usefulness to the Imperium. What is the practical significance of your experiment? In their current state, each of the subjects is doomed. Just as the parts of a dying mechanism can be combined again to create a functioning machine, so too can these subjects be combined into a single entity, granting them continued life through the correct configuration of the ferrum sanctum and organic components of all three. The only thing I require to continue the experiment is a solution to my dilemma. Which subject should serve as the basis? Yogan turns his burning gaze to you. How did you decide to create a trio Somata out of these three? No, actually this goes down. Yeah. How did you decide to create a trio Somata out of these three? There are strong arguments in favor of each of them. The janitor raises a clawed mechadendrite and begins flexing its manipulators in time with his words. Firstly, they have all performed their services impeccably, which suggests outstanding human qualities. Secondly, each body is robust enough to receive the blessing of the Omnissiah. And thirdly, there is no other chance of salvation for any of them. Why are all three subjects so horribly mutilated? Two reasons. The first is that they were previously fatally injured. I performed numerous rites and manipulations to ensure that each was able to avoid a fatal outcome. The second is that I've been conducting the necessary measurements to fully assess the capability of the configurations of ferrum sanctum and organic components for an optimal experimental result. This often requires the extraction of said components. Why is this experiment so important to you? An angry spark zips along the pistons in the manipulus' beard. He floats higher, turning his glowering gaze on the sector's ceiling. Because I cannot abide the senseless waste of potential, I cannot accept that a foolish accident in the fragility of organic flesh can, in an instant, deprive the Imperium of worthy servants. And if I am able to extend their service life, I will do so, whatever the cost. Iogon's passionate speech could be mistaken for pride and conceit, but something else lies in it, a doggedness born of some deeply personal experience. This man carries a heavy burden, and the experiment is but one of many attempts to relieve himself of it at last. Drifting lower once more, Iogon calmly asks, "Any more questions plaguing you, rogue trader?" Very well, I will help you. But what role am I to play in this experiment? A decisive one. I can detail the composition of humor ratio of each experimental subject, measure the mass of their frontal lobe, or answer with picosecond accuracy. How often their heart contracts. But how does one calculate a man's righteousness? How do you weigh diligence of servants? You will help me answer these questions by choosing the basis for the Tria Somata. Your assessment will be the linchpin upon which this experiment hinges. Why not ask Nuncius for advice? My dearest colleague and I have had more than one concilium, but we have never reached a consensus. Nuncius is a skeptic, and our positions rarely align. but we tend to reach a compromise in the end. But alas, not on this occasion. The only thing we agree on is the need for a third opinion. Only you can furnish us with said opinion. That is an incontrovertible fact. What is it that Nuncius disagrees with? The servo skull hovers in haughty silence, which is broken only by Yugon's sighs of exasperation. Pressing his lips together, the manipulator grunts out. To condense his overly dramatic, pedantic response, Nuncius does not consider righteousness to be in any way a significant factor in this research. Had I any less respect for my dearest colleague, I would say that this constitutes an egregious misunderstanding of the concept of the trio somata, and is indicative of extreme closed-mindedness. Such remarks are beneath me, you say, making those remarks. What do you understand about the term righteousness? The combination of countless factors that unite the thoughts and deeds of a person into the quintessence of the world of his being. Within his specific society, I'm at a loss to provide a less broad definition, but no matter. Much more important is how you define righteousness. The subject you choose will determine the answer to that question. Why not just combine all three minds to serve as a basis? Three minds cannot coexist in one body. Setting aside the fact that even I would not be capable of achieving such a feat in practice, in theory it would certainly lead to complete deconstruction of all three minds. Some less flexible thinkers might even consider it heresy. You sense some agreement in Nuncius' silence. As my dearest colleague rightly notes, we've encountered many such points of contention over the years. Before I make my choice, tell me about the merits of all three. A mechadendrite touches the table with the middle-aged man. Enforcer Lurink. He has diligently served on the ship since birth, a participant in countless combat landings, where he was a model of valor and steadfastness. He was known on the lower decks for being tough but fair. His lack of active heroism was the rescue of an enforcer patrol and a number of workers on deck 515E2. Lorink placed his own body over a crack grenade thrown from the crowd by a mutineer. Okay, I fuck with Lorink. That's the sound of the type of guy I'd like. I really like. Next is the old man. Preacher Cleophanes, originally assigned to serve in the ship's reliquary, he rejected the luxury of the chapel in favor of an eternal pilgrimage on the decks where no servant of the ecclesiarchy had ever set foot. Through his example and word, he encouraged and instructed the outcast and forgotten. Thousands of souls who would otherwise have lost their faith and fallen into heresy came to know the word of the emperor. But it only took one to end Cleophanes' preaching for good. A madman attacked him during a sermon, managing to rip out the preacher's vocal implants before the crowd tore him apart. Yeesh. I also fuck with him, another pretty fucking good guy. But still leading to the enforcer. Finally, Yogun touches the Voidborn youth. Mikosh, a ventilation shaft crawler from Sorting Hub 10. He dutifully burned mold, slime, and vermin, and would be the first to climb into blocked ducts, risking his life to deliver recycled air to the sector. He was a true believer and never lamented his lot. On his final foray, he saved hundreds of workers by using his body to plug a hole in a combustible gas pipe. This toxicity led to cardiac arrest and blood poisoning. Jeez. Ready to make my decision. Yugon raises his mechadendrites in anticipation. Who will form the basis for the trio somata? Like, I love all three of them. I'm kind of torn between the enforcer and the worker. Because, like, I want that to be what all my enforcers are like. You know what I mean? You should be the example to enforcers, try and get them more in line. But the youth... Like, yeah, that's a young guy. He risked himself for just like the whole compartment. Like, um, this is tough. I'm gonna go with the worker. I feel like that's most in line with I've been playing this character. Look out for the little man, help out the little man type of stuff. And this is a little man that put himself at risk for everyone. So did the enforcer, but you know. Yugen contemplates a half-dead man lying stretched out on the galvanized surface. The choice has been made, but will you deign to answer my question? Why him? I must know your thought process. He could have saved himself, but he chose to sacrifice himself for the sector. Selflessness is the highest expression of righteousness. Iogun closes his organic eye, deep in thought. Finally, his face breaks into a smile. Thank you, Deis. This is it, the solution to our dilemma. I'll begin the triosomia procedure. May organic flesh and sacred machinery be one. Alright, let's see how this goes. 2 hours, 23 minutes. Ugh. With a barely audible crunch, Iogun's injector mechadendrite pierces the brain tissue. The man's face contorts in anguish, and his back arcs in a fit of spasms. His brows furrowing, the janitor delivers a powerful pulse of emotive force, and the unfortunate man drops limply back down on the table. The tech priest manipulators start between the three bodies, separating organs, augmetics, and limbs, and transplanting them to the new host. Discharges of energy coruscate around Yugun's hulking figure, growing brighter and brighter until the final flash leaves you temporarily blinded. When your vision returns, you see the manipulus carefully releasing the subject's limbs from their restraints. The process is complete. Hey bud, how you doing? Not well it seems. The creature, which a second ago resembled a humanoid lump of bloody meat studded with metal, suddenly leaps up with unexpected vigor, tossing Yugun backwards and letting out an unintelligible howl of suffering. Before anyone can react, the amalgam man barrels towards the entrance of the Sector Bionica, filling the deserted corridors with its plaintive moans. Yugun stares after him in amazement. Impossible! The calculations were perfectly calibrated, all factors taken into consideration. Was the specimen defective? I must find the Triosomata immediately and determine what went wrong. Yukon beat Drackles to life, carrying the Voxmaster's anxious voice. Lord Captain, an urgent report from Mistress Sauerbach. A strange creature resembling a malfunctioning servitor is headed toward the lower decks, shouting pleas that make reference to you and the janitor Ferrous. Enforcers have been dispatched to intercept it, but they assumed that you would prefer to assess the situation personally. Um, at least we know where exactly. At least we know exactly where to look for your creation, Yugon. Boxmaster, we are on our way. One way or another, we must see the experiment through to the end. End dialogue. God, I'm getting level up, Yugon. Oh boy. I don't need to, technically, but... Okay, let's see. Alright, Yugon. You're an overseer. I'm gonna give you Servo Skull Swarm just because that makes sense, honestly. Charge distribution. Um, Gonna get the gate. That seems interesting. Oh, the Servo Skull. Overcharge. Yeah. I'm just going through this kind of quick. Get ballistic scale up a little bit. Can get cohesion because I know you can be a bit splash damagey. Um, that seems good. Use one Medicaid, might as well. That's pretty good. Let's get fellowship up a little bit. I really don't. Goodness gracious, it's gonna take a minute. Gonna grab that. It's gonna make the service goal nice and buff, I feel like. Good call. Give you some more Medicaid. Do do do. Energy, yeah, that's neat. Ba-ba-ba-da-ba. Jelly beans. Can I just grab? Okay, that's what I thought. Advanced skill. Some advanced Medicaid, sure. Yeah, that's 70. More Medicaid. Seven times one. Fuck, 7 shells. He's 1 plus ink bonus. That's neat. Um. Yeah, we'll grab that. Oh, I do have a plasma weapon on him now. I'm thinking about it. I think. Pretty sure. Just ballistic skill. More Medicaid. I'm trying to go through this quickly. Actually, what is that plus 1? Lodge divided by 50. Raj. Keep some more logic. Oh no, I've already maxed that out from that. Duh. Oh no, there it is. More logic. Grab that, sure. Yeah, that works. Um, bring it down and just make the enemies attack each other. That's pretty good. Man, this game has a lot. I just realized how many officers are here. Oh, excuse me. I think officer might be one of the most common base classes. Officer and warrior. I didn't think about that now. I'm curious. I'll do that later, honestly. Grab energy multiplier. Um, a ballistic skill a little bit wouldn't be a bad idea. A ballistic skill. Grab that. Move is nice. More logic. Yeah, we'll grab that. Two times familiar bonus. That's neat. You will get intelligence. Stand witness effects. Points. Sure. That's neat. Let's get some more intelligence. I'll take that. That game we can make it just a Ooh, that's actually not bad. Just more logic. Uh, yeah, degrade defense actually works for you. You get a good amount of attacks on your turn typically. Uh, yeah, sure, lost energy, that works. Some more logic. There we go. New gun. Do I have a better plasma gun? I do not. Basic Omni-Axe. I might give you Pioneer's Charge. Army, sure to take that. Sure, portable motive for storage. Uh, uh, ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba-da-ba. Pretty sure if I remember correctly, I actually do have some stuff that is specific to Yugon. Yeah, that's one. The Magna Rail Blast. Yeah, that's good enough. There we go. God, I have so many random consumables. Okay, cool. Oh, hey, we're back here. Something resembling a nest made out of thermal insulation material. This must be where the workers sleep between shifts. Bloody bare footprints stretch further down the passageway. The air smells of machine onions and Medicaid substance.
I'll lay
This is from like
claim
way
to the
early
stars.
on. Way back in like Act 1, maybe. Yeah, I think he actually like first come here in like Act 1. When there's like the somewhat rebellion going on. Not rebellion, but like protest. Protest is probably the best word. Soft protest going on. The worker is huddled on the floor, the imprint of a mechanical hand on his shattered shoulder. Someone seized him with great force and threw him against the wall. Yeesh. Look, Captain, we've got the beast cornered. Give us the order and we'll capture it. No, no, no. No, no, no. At ease, men. The trio Samada lies prostrate before the entrance to the bay. The faint tequila on the door, the only witness to his incoherent babbling. His hysterical wails of the righteous triune man are interrupted from time to time by the clang of his augmented skull against the deck. A viscous mixture of blood and oil oozes from the staples on his forehead. His fingernails are chipped from his attempts to dig the implants out of his body. Yeesh. The young man stutters out prayers interspersed with fearful lamentations to an unseen interlocutor. Lameness shows weakness of spirit. God, Emperor, let me get up and work. A spasm rocks his body, and his already muddled speech turns into a frightening cacophony that barely sounds like language. Suddenly, the Tria Somata pounds his head on the deck again and spews forth another medley of ragged sentences. Do I have a choice? Hunger's pawing at my door. I will work my shift and die before I betray the dynasty. The spasm repeats. Yogun clucks his tongue in displeasure, worrying at a piston on his beard as he thinks. The subject left the sector bionic prematurely. Nuncius is right. I was so absorbed in the triosomia procedure and its successful outcome that I made the mistake of unfastening the restraints before the psychological evaluation could be conducted. Rogue Trader, we must stabilize the triosomata before the specimen is forever lost to us. Gonna have Nuncius present you. How do we stabilize him? Just as a bandage binds a wound and a patch secures damaged steel, so can words heal a fractured mind. He is bewildered and frightened. He does not understand the gift that has been given to him. Talk to him. I really want Nuncius to present me. I think I gotta do it. It's just funny to have Nuncius present me. Nuncius, present me. The servo skull hovers haughtily without uttering a word. It is clear he thinks you need no introduction. Abelard scowling jealously at Nunci. Abelard, why are you jealous of a servo skull, bruh? It's a joke. Abelard scowling jealously at Nuncius mutters, "Allow me, Lord Captain." Trios Amata, before you stands rogue trader Deis von Voluntius, Lord Captain of this vessel and sovereign of its crew. Solely by his grace do you still live. One wrong word, one wrong movement, and I will personally call the enforcers down upon you. The mumbling and head-thumping stop. The man shifts his clouded gaze to you, and you see recognition in his eyes. Lord Captain, I'm no layabout. I'll work my shift. There's no excuse for idleness. But my heart, give it back. I beg you. The young man digs his broken nails into his chest augment and makes a pitiful attempt to rip it out. He breaks down weeping, swaying from side to side. Why are you maiming yourself? I can't find my heart. I forgot it down there in the shaft. I need to check. The young man glances around, mumbling nonsensically and occasionally slamming his fist on the deck and pausing to listen. His attention suddenly shifts to his hands. My body's been switched. These are the hands of an idler, not mine. Mikosh, can a person who sacrificed himself for others be without a heart? It may beat differently, but it does still beat. I believe in you, and everyone you saved believes in you too. Do you? He clasps his trembling hand over his chest and smiles. I can feel it. Struggling. The Lord Captain believes? Sorting up 10. I won't bring shame. I will work my shift. I won't betray the dynasty. The trio of Samata stops. The poor man's shoulders slowly slump, and the convulsions steadily subside. His lucidity does not last long. The amalgam's eyes soon go blank, and his mouth stretches into a blissful smile. Rocking peacefully and drooling, he murmurs broken snippets from his former life and prayers to the Emperor. Absurd! Unacceptable! Yugon scans the trio of Samata, furiously pounding the keys of the microcogitator mounted upon his torso. You've succeeded in pacifying him, but the trio of Samata is rejecting the attempts of the implant's machine sphere to contain the cognitive entropy. Total personality degradation is inevitable. I must reassemble him. That is enough, Yugon. Leave this blissful fool be, and let the Medicae of the Sector Bionica tend to him until the end. The trio Somata obediently allows himself to be led away. The man keeps his eyes fixed on the Aquila. I keep wanting to see Aquila, but after listening to some audio, I know for a fact that it's Aquila. So I'm like, gotta break this habit now. Fix on the Aquila, murmuring prayers until he is lost to your sight. The tech priest looks gloomier than a cloud. Rogue trader, I'm experiencing a cognitive block. I've analyzed every possible failure hypothesis and double-checked every step I've made, and I've failed to identify a single mistake. The organic parts in the Ferrum Sanctum joined together perfectly. The brain was perfectly preserved. These complications should never have occurred, yet the outcome cannot be denied. My calculations are perfectly correct, and that is an incontrovertible fact. So, was the flaw in the conditions or in the subject themselves? People are not machines. You tried to break people down into mechanical components. Your original hypothesis was flawed. The manipulous galvanic cell crackles nervously. My hypothesis is flawed? How? It's inconceivable. Or I've strayed and committed heresy by believing that I comprehended the nature of the machine god by thinking that we are simpler creatures than him? Rogue Trader, I thank you for your contribution to our research. Nuncius and I can now call you colleague. Can now call you colleague in all earnestness. I need to think, rethink, and discuss this new data with Nuncius. Please find me on the bridge later. We must discuss the results of the experiments. Alright. Gonna do a little bit of looting, because I deserve it. The mangled aquila from the entrance gleams in the puddle of the oil and blood, the only reminder of the tragedy. Inside the box, a string of scratched letters runs along the edge. Different first names, but the same surname. It looks like this box has been passed down in the family from generation to generation.
I won't tolerate weakness.
I just love Abelard getting jealous that I have Nuncius announce me. Just Abelard, you old codger. Alternatively, since I've never had Abelard introduce me in this one, I've always introduced myself. Abelard's angry that he has never gotten to introduce me, but a Servo Skull got the honor. That would also be funny. Where is Tria Prima? I don't remember Tria Prima. Where is this Tria Prima? Oh, is that?
Trader, your timing is impeccable. I am ready to discuss the fascinating experiment we have been conducting in the sector Bionica and on other decks.
Isn't Nuncius jealous of your new cyber companion?
A preposterous notion. My cybernetic companion is merely an auxiliary tool. It is far less sophisticated than Nuncius, and lacks his outstanding communication skills and sharp intellect.
That's adorable. Truly, you detect not a whit of jealousy in the Servo Skull's gaze. Cabela has acquired a skull companion of her own. Do you think he and Nuncius will get along?
That mutant skull that Mistress Cabela has chosen to establish familiar relations with is a crude anatomical aid, and nothing more. I suppose her conversations can be characterized as a primitive means of meditation, where the individual projects her state of mind and thoughts onto some inanimate object, and thereby achieves a certain degree of introspection. Nuncius, by contrast, contains a machine spirit, which we know every creation of the Omnissiah to possess. And he also happens to be a highly erudite and complex construct.
I just want you guys to imagine this whole blurb right here. My eyes are darting between Yogon and Nuncius, but I'm not saying anything. The erudite and complex construct opts not to comment on your witty remark. I want to discuss the results of the so-called triosomata experiment.
Indeed. After processing all the data, including your invaluable contribution to the outcome of the experiment, my dear colleague and I engaged in a lengthy debate. My cognitive block has been resolved at last.
That's good to hear.
I have come to the conclusion that the only correct decision in the context of this experiment was not to conduct it in the first place. My methods were correct and my intentions good, but I clung to my hypothesis to the last, in blind defiance of Nuncius's arguments and objective reality. I was attempting to wring usefulness out of people like charge from a dying battery. But regardless of how well and long a battery served before, when it is finally depleted, isn't the more rational response to dispose of it and replace it with a new one? Righteousness is a trait of these people, but it is not their primary function. I see that now.
What of the triosomata?
As you instructed, he is being tended to in the Sector Bionica. His cognitive functions have almost entirely failed, and only the Omnissiah's mercy keeps him from losing all mobility. The Triosomata spends his days bowed in prayer, or so we presume, since he has lost all verbal capacity. He appears to be at peace.
Does Nuncius agree with you?
We have managed to reach a consensus on the root of the problem. The rest can be overlooked. He is not convinced by all my conclusions, but that is no terrible thing. He and I share a common path, but we each have our own methods of comprehending it.
You have learned something valuable, which means this experiment was not in vain.
Precisely. A man chooses what he is made of. Regrets for his past mistakes, or the experience he gained from them. Only those who choose the latter course can attain true wisdom.
Wise man.
I wish to thank you. You helped me cope with a situation that was beyond my control, and to recognize my mistakes. And that is worth a great deal. I was considering using this implant in an experiment, but I thought it too valuable to waste on the laity. Please, accept it as a gift.
The manipulative bows presenting you the package, which is, wow, actually really neat. Oh, excuse me. I'll talk to Yugon more later.
I find our conversation stimulating, and I will look forward to your next visit.
I might actually chat with him a bit at the start of the next stream, if I remember tomorrow. I do want to do the Cabela thing real quickly. Lord Captain, Mistress Cabela is awaiting your judgment. Would you like her brought in? I want to know what you think about the other officers. I do not trust them, but I do not trust anyone. Mistress Solomon has too much power, and will surely be tempted to start deciding for herself what information to share with the crew on your behalf and what to withhold. Ravor is closely intertwined with the ship's systems, which opens up plenty of opportunities for sabotage. He must be watched. As for Donrock, forgive me, but a man of his size and habits cannot help but steal. What can you tell me about Abelard? The Seneschal is a model of competence and fidelity, and all the officers and forces look up to him with gratitude. A grimace of fierce devotion takes hold of Sarbach's face, before she abruptly grits her teeth and continues. It is all the more distressing to see that the years have not been kind to the deeply respected Master Verserian. Soon there will be no rejuvenant treatments that can save him from the mistakes inherited in such advanced age. But we are ever watchful, and will be there to steady the trembling hand of the honored veteran if need be. But for now, the steel in his spine remains unbending as ever, where Verserian has been staunchly defending the crew in disputes with Master Antar, and Master Arbitrator's dogged pursuit of order, his hard-nosed severity, his implacability. The admiration in Sarbox's voice is unmistakable, but the esteemed seneschal is right. While our enforcers may not be as superbly trained as the adept Sarbites, our strength lies in our unquestioning loyalty to the dynasty. It is not for the esteemed proctor to interfere with centuries of tried and tested practice. Bring Cabela here. I want to know what drove her to murder. Let's just be done. I mean, knowing Cabela, I do trust her. Who's that guy with the cloak? Lord Captain, a murder has been committed on this ship. The victim is one lettered Forius, Chirurgeon Majoris. The perpetrator was apprehended at the scene of the crime, admitted her guilt, and did not resist arrest. Cabela appears cold and apathetic. Her unblinking eyes stare vacantly, her expression odd. The 40th clan invoked the ship's tradition and summoned a requiscator to testify on behalf of the deceased. I know I did not pronounce that even halfway right, but we're moving on. The masked man bows stiffly and decorously. Requiscator? Explain. When there is no one to speak for a deceased person in court, the representative is entitled to seek assistance from a member of the Requiscators Guild. Their duty is to know and remember each and every person on the ship so that they can defend the interests of the deceased and represent them in court. They study the victim's entire life history to gain the most detailed impression of their personality, deeds, and aspirations. The guild was founded by one of your distant ancestors, and, to my knowledge, the Requiscators only exist on our glorious flagship. Why is a Requiscator speaking for the late Forius? Does the man not have a family? The clan to which the deceased belonged are wary to bring accusations against the Lord Captain's companion, and the esteemed Leonard never made any courageous friends in his life, having always preferred his work to the company of others. Let us see just how well he knows the deceased. Tell me, Requescator, what did Forius like and dislike about his work? The masked head lowers, and the man strokes his chin contemplatively. I'm struggling to read today, guys. I'm so sorry. If you've made it this far, I really appreciate you all. The masked man lowers his head, and the man strokes his chin contemplatively. He was fascinated by diseases, injuries, pathogens, complications. What he disliked was the patients. They would not let him concentrate on that which was killing them. Fair enough. How do you feel, Cabela? I'm fine. Cabela turns her face towards you slightly. A whisper escapes her lips. This is just hollow ceremony. Pointless. It's only about the circumstances of the murder. The eyewitness account didn't give us much. The deceased and the murderer, a brief conversation, following which Mistress Cabela beheaded the Chirurgeon Majoris. The witnesses did not overhear any details of the conversation. Is it true that you killed him, Cabela? Yes. Neither the Chirurgeon's death nor her own impending punishment seems to trouble Cabela. The pensive dark gaze wanders around the bridge. It was me. Why did you do it? The heartless man took on a burden that was not his to bear. His duty was to heal, but instead he sent people to the Undying One. The evil's time is not yet come. He was cruel and had no intention of ever stopping. My influences make Cabela more compassionate. Interesting. So we've seen that in both Cabela and Heinrix now. The Undying One never whispered his name. I myself decided to sever his thread. Fucking thank you, Peanut Gallery. Mordecai shrugs. So she felt like killing some servants. Why do they all take such offense? Is every corpse going to cause such a stir from now on? Thank you, Peanut Gallery. Shut up, Mordecai. I told you it would end like this, but why should anyone listen to little old Jai? She shakes her head sullenly. I don't know if she's talking to me or Cabela. Her colors have changed. The scarlet and gold are drowning in the rage of muddled crimson, the misty blues of sorrow, and the impenetrable greens of doubt. These shades are all in conflict, melding together in a frenetic tapestry. Oh my god, keep. Could you not just move them all? Could you not just move them all to be like a bit closer? So my camera isn't flying around the entire ship. It's a little annoying. You walk the narrow, dark path across a yawning abyss. It is small wonder that you stumbled. This soul, already mangled by bloody and frightening service, had fractured further still. Can it be saved? Juliet falls silent, leaving her own question unanswered. She was never sane to begin with. Judging lunatics is a thankless duty. The more important thing to address is that her cult is guilty of having drilled the notion of chosenness into her head. The whole sect must answer for this incident. Thank you, Colonel Hardass. Didn't ask for your opinion either. Let us hear from the victim's representative. The masked man's voice is unpleasantly creaky. The esteemed Lord Leonard served this lordship and this dynasty for many years. He treated the sick and gained new knowledge as his trade demanded. He saved many, but he himself was not saved. He caused Mistress Cabela no grievance. He never offended her. He merely answered her questions regarding his work, whereupon he was attacked. And so he has the right to demand a reckoning. The death of his murderer would be lawful and proportionate in retribution. The heartless man did more than heal people. He maimed them, too. Tortured them, killed them slowly, and observed. He treated the sick and gained knowledge. The masked head jerks up haughtily. The boots of those who walk the path of wisdom leave bloodied footprints. It is a rule that existed long before the esteemed Lesser did. Whom specifically did Furious torture? Unimportant people, common people, doomed people. The Requescator shakes drops of imaginary blood from his hands with disgust. This was the esteemed Lesser's way of thinking. Does a doomed leper care whether the disease or the knife is causing them pain? Is the formula for a medicine that would cure distinguished officers not? Is the formula for a medicine that would cure distinguished officers not worth the lives of a few dozen commoners turned test subjects? With the knowledge he gained, he invented a multitude of bombs, antidotes, and treatment methods that went on to save thousands of lives. His methods were revolting. His methods were efficient. Only one who has never lain upon an operating table would prefer a principled healer to a competent one. I've learned enough. We humbly await your verdict, Lord Captain. Ordinary justice. The Furious clan will be awarded a generous indemnity for their loss, to be paid by me. I humbly declare that the esteemed Lessard was indifferent to the fortunes, good or otherwise, of his estranged kinspeople, whom you have made rich, and that he would not be satisfied with this ruling. Sucks for him, don't it? I cannot be put on trial. Cabella's words are barely louder than a whisper, but everyone hears them. She raises her head, face deathly pale, as if she is asleep with her eyes open. None have the right to judge a spinner of death. I don't fully agree with that, sister. Oh, hey, here's your elder, who's made his way all the way up here to tell you that you're wrong. Only he can judge. Though the vizier's eyes are sewn shut, one can still read the grief that permeates his wrinkled features. He whispers in a sorrowful voice, "You have strayed from the web. You have strayed from the thread. You have doomed the tenets of the blood-spun web to oblivion. With a sorry end for me, not for you, for I am compelled to usher my apprentice's soul to the other side before it is my own time to go." Why have you come here, Vizier? To take the one who no longer sees the tenets, to give her to him. She is dangerous. To pacify her forever. Such is my duty, and so it must be. Mentor, why me? Do you truly think the greatest danger to your flock is me? Gabella's voice trembles with pain. What is happening to her? She's not herself. The second spinner is in the throes of a spiritual ailment that we call doubt. This most terrible ailment, though harmless to layfolk, is deadly to us. For a doubtful spinner will stray from their destined thread and into a bloodthirsty madness. Doubt brings them to the Undying One before their time. Our service is demanding. It requires clarity and a sense of purpose that she no longer possesses. Long have I sensed the seeds of anxiety in her, but I hoped her reason would prove stronger and prevail. Alas, now I see the mark of despondence on her. Alas, I know that I am not mistaken. There must be a way to help her. How would one heal the soul of another, Domin? She is fighting a losing battle inside her mind, one she is all but lost. We cannot enter her mind, we cannot reach out a hand to her, although... You could. A thread binds the Domin and his shadow together. A rare thread, a shared thread. Will that connection be enough for your souls to enter into harmony? I must attempt to save her at the very least. Oh boy. Ugh. The Vizier turns his face towards Cabela, who seems withdrawn, her spark snuffed out. He whispers, "Then seek a steward of souls, an artisan who will put you both in a psychic trance, allowing your minds to become one. You have a chapel full of astropaths, Domin. One of them will surely do you that service. See that their guidance is strong, for inside her soul you will encounter monsters. A doubt-ridden mind is a dangerous place." Okay. Interesting. We're gonna hold out on that. Oh yeah, we gotta talk to Jai about that stuff. Okay, I think I'm actually gonna pause here, because I am actually getting a bit tired. We're gonna stop by, I'm gonna stand next to Jai, so I can hopefully remind myself to talk to her before we go. Just gonna wrap us up here, because I'm getting a bit tired and want to take a bit of a nap, actually. So thank you all very much for coming around and hanging out. I do appreciate all of you. If you're watching here on Kick, a follow would be really appreciated. And if you missed any of this stream or any of my previous streams, I will be uploading them over to YouTube later tonight. You can watch them all in a nice, neat playlist for you. If you're over on YouTube, please consider a like, comment, and subscribe. All that stuff will help out a ton. And please do feel free to pop over and join us live for a Kick stream or two, or however many you feel comfortable doing. Because I do my best to stream for about 2 hours every day, every weekday, give or take, starting around noon EST. But with that said and done, I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of their days, and I will see y'all later, homies. Peace out.